Let's take a quick look at our homework Think Central Lesson 510. So these are kind of ratio problems. If a turtle walks 2/10 of a mile in 1 hour, how far can he walk in half an hour, or 5/10 of an hour? You need to multiply or divide to solve this problem. So what I've done here is I set up a comparison bar model. 1 hour is the same as 2/10 of a mile. So if you think about it, what would half an hour be? So you have you can multiply or divide. So I'm not exactly sure what Think Central wants you to do, but let's just go ahead and divide it. You're going to split it in half. So what is half of 2/10? Well, half of 2/10 is 1/10, because 2/10 divided by 2 would be the same as 1/10. So the answer is going to be 1/10 either way. You can divide or you can multiply, because multiplication and division are the same. If you multiply by a fraction, 1/2 of, or you divide by a decimal, 0.5, it's the same answer. Either way, you're going to get 1/10. So you can divide or multiply. I think they're wanting us to divide by 2 on this. If Gus ran 3.6 miles, he took a sip of water every 9/10 of a mile. How many sips did he take? Will the answer be greater or less than 3.6? Well, looking at this, you're dividing by a number that's less than 1, so your quotient is going to be greater than the original number, greater than the dividend, because you're dividing by a smaller number. So because you're dividing by a smaller number, the answer is going to be greater. Last year, 115 cows on Dixie's dairy farm had calves. This year, 0.6 times as many. So that is less than a whole amount. So you're going to be 0.6 times 115. So let's multiply that. 115 times 0.6. So again, we go to decimal island. There's one decimal space here. So let's put that over here, one space. And let's multiply without the decimal now. So the answer would be 690. The decimal place comes back into play, and the answer would be 69. So this year there would be 69 calves. If a whole number and a whole number A and D is a decimal less than 1, will D times A be greater or less than A? Well, if you're multiplying, remember, a part of is a smaller part. So if you're multiplying by a number that is less than 1, you're going to end up with a lesser part. D times A is less than A, because you are taking a smaller part of A, part of A. So let's just use mental math here, use reasoning to compare these, greater or less than or equal to. Well, you're taking a part of, remember times is of, a part of 741, so you're going to be smaller than 741, but this time you're dividing 741 by a smaller number than 1. 741 divided by 1 would be 741, so 741 divided by a number less than 1 will give you a greater quotient. So this number, 75 hundredths of 71, is going to be less than the quotient of 741 and 75 hundredths. If Mi Young had 38 meters of crepe paper, she'll cut them into strips that are less than 1 whole, or 0.6 meters. Will she get more strips or less strips? Well, if she's cutting into 1 meter strips, she's going to get 38. So if she's cutting into strips that are less than 1, you're going to get more than 38. So she will get more than, Mi Young will get more than 38 strips. This is from our last unit. We're just multiplying 2 decimals. Here we have 2 decimal places on the island. Then we multiply 5 times 7, and we get 35. And we bring back those 2 decimal places, and the answer should be 35 hundredths. This time we are dividing by a decimal. We do not want to divide by a decimal. We want to make this an equivalent division problem without a decimal divisor. So we multiply this by 10, and then we multiply this by 10 and move it up. So we have 9 goes into 82.8. How many times? Well, 9 does not go into 8 tens. 9 does go into 82 ones 9 times. You have 1 left over. You regroup that as 18 tenths. And 9 goes into 18 tenths 2 times. So the quotient should be 9.2. Back to Decimal Island we go. Here we have 4 decimal places on the island. Then we just multiply 47 times 8, and then we bring back those decimal places. So 47 times 8 is 376. Bring back the 4 decimal places. Annex a 0 there to hold that place value, so our product should be 0.0376. If Polly bought 16 beach balls and she spent $31.84, how much did each beach ball cost? So we're going to divide $31.84 by 16. First step you do is move that decimal place up to the quotient line. 16 does not go into 3 tens. 16 does go into 31 ones. It's going to go in 1 time. You know, 15 ones left over. Bring down the 8. So now we have 158 tenths. 16 will go into 158 tenths. And 9 times. 9 times 16 will be 144, so that's going to leave you a difference of 14 tenths. Bring down the 4. 144 is what's left over. Those are hundredths, and it will go in to that 9 times. So your each beach ball is going to cost $1.99. All right, keep studying this. I think it's best to draw models and also use the self-talk strategy to figure out if you should multiply or divide.